All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going through some super direct, no-nonsense advice from Menelek Lennox. We're talking about 13 specific mindset shifts that totally changed how he operates and builds wealth. And just a heads up, this isn't that vague, fluffy, motivational stuff. These are real, concrete rules for getting things done.
Okay, let's just start right here because this quote hits hard. The whole argument is that failure usually has nothing to do with how smart you are or whether you have good ideas. The real problem, it's a failure to act. It's an issue of momentum, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack. So, that brings us to this idea of the execution gap. You know, that giant canyon between having a brilliant thought and actually, doing something about it. This is where so many great ideas go to die.
I mean, how many of us have felt this? It's a really painful feeling. You get that spark, that idea that you just know could change everything. But then you hesitate. You wait for the perfect time. And while you're waiting, someone else who's ready to just move goes out and builds your dream. It's a tough lesson in what inaction costs you.
And look, this is the thing, right? Ideas are a dime a dozen. We all have them. The thing that actually has value, the thing that separates the dreamers from the doers, is the ability to execute. This isn't just a cool phrase. It's a fundamental principle of how things get done.
So, the big question is, how do we actually bridge that gap? Well, that's where we get into the first set of solutions. Lennox calls them his foundational mindsets. Think of this as the core operating system you need to install to become action-oriented.
Okay, mindset number 1. This is huge. It's about completely reframing how you see inspiration. An idea isn't some gentle suggestion you can file away for later. No, it's an order. The second it pops into your head, you start moving on it. It just completely erases that gap between thinking and doing.
And this one, wow. It's so simple, but it is an absolute game changer. It's a tiny change in language that just flips your whole timeline. One day lives in a fantasy world. Sometime off in the future that never comes. But day one, that means today. It means right now. You're shifting from just hoping to actually doing. This is all about being ruthless with what isn't working for you. Mindset 3 is about agility. You can't be so attached to a failing strategy or a bad habit just because it feels familiar. You have to be willing to switch gears instantly. The power to change your life can literally be unlocked with a single decision to do things differently.
Just let that sink in for a second. This is such a core mindset. You can't just wait around for a hero or some lucky break to come and fix your problems. The responsibility is 100% on you. You're your own rescue team.
Okay, so once you've got that action-oriented mindset down, how do you actually build something with it? Well, that brings us to our next section, the strategic operator. This isn't just about working hard. It's about working smart to build a financial foundation that can actually last. Let's talk about mindset number 4. This is a big one. The most dangerous number when it comes to your income? It's 1. Relying on a single paycheck or a single client puts you in a crazy, vulnerable spot. If that one thing disappears, you're toast. The whole strategy is to diversify so that if one thing fails, you're still standing.
Mindset number 5 is basically a dose of reality for anyone who thinks success is supposed to happen overnight. Real, sustainable growth isn't about some big lucky break. It's a step-by-step process. You start small, with something you can manage. You test it, you see what happens, you learn, you adjust your plan. And only then, once you've proven it works, do you start to scale it up.
So, Mindset 7 is all about a trade-off you have to make. What do you really want? Do you want long-term freedom? Or do you want to look good in the short term? Because chasing the flex, the fancy car, the designer stuff, that often leads you straight into debt. And debt is a trap. If you prioritize your freedom, you stay away from those traps, which lets you move and recover without all that pressure.
And here are a couple of absolute musts for any operator, covering mindsets 8 and 11. First, you have to think long-term. Don't just plan for this week, plan for years down the road so you're always ready for what's next. And second, read the fine print. The biggest mistakes are almost always hiding in the tiny details of a contract. Never, ever rush a decision that could cost you years of your life.
All right, we've talked about acting and strategizing. Now we gotta look inward. This next section, the disciplined self, is all about the internal engine that makes all the external stuff happen. These are the habits you need to stay sharp and on top of your game.
This is something a lot of people miss, but it's so important. Mindset number 6 is all about this. There are no shortcuts. You have to learn to embrace the daily grind. Success isn't just about celebrating the big wins, it's about finding satisfaction in the work itself, even on the days you don't feel like it. If you can't do that, burnout is pretty much guaranteed.
Mindset 9 draws a super clear line between your physical and professional life. The discipline it takes to control your body, to push through a workout when you're tired, to eat right, that's the exact same muscle you use to control your business and your life. Your physical health has a direct impact on your mental sharpness.
So here's a question for you. What happens at the exact moment you decide you already know it all? The second you think you're above learning anything new?
The answer is simple and brutal. You fall hard. That's from Mindset 10. Your ego will blind you. The second you believe you have nothing left to learn is the second you start going downhill. Staying humble isn't just a nice quality, it's a survival tactic.
Okay, so we've put all these pieces together. The action, the strategy, the discipline. But what's it all for? After all that work, what's the actual goal? What is the real end game?
And this might be the biggest mindset shift of them all. Number 13. The goal isn't to just chase money. That's an endless, unstable game. The real goal is to understand money so you can use it as a tool to build a stable, good life.
So, if you're not just chasing cash, what are you building? Well, it's this. Real wealth is having a strong circle of people you can actually trust. It's having genuine peace of mind. And it's having control over your own life and your own time. The idea is that if you focus on building these 3 pillars, the money will follow. Look, as we wrap up, it's important to be real about this. None of this stuff is easy. It takes a ton of discipline and consistency. But the principles themselves, they're actually very, very simple. They're clear, straightforward rules you can follow.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Having a powerful mindset is crucial. It's the starting line. It's the key that starts the engine, but it doesn't drive the car. At the end of the day, all the great thinking in the world means nothing if you don't act. It's the execution that actually changes your life.